This is WW3 News. More dystopian, crazy nutcase ideas from Brussels. First, they've been banging on about the cars. Now, they're banging on about your fireplace and stoves. They want to ban it in the European Union because it pollutes. It won't make any difference to the environment because in other countries they will continue use this means of heating and in some places in Italy areas they were applicating some type of restrictions on your chimney for your central heating. It must be revisioned every year. The chimney check they call it here. And it must be analysed, the soot that's inside. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the central heating in the winter. And the local councils are the ones which you decide when you can switch on the heating. You know, man has been using fire for heating, cooking, and even defending itself from ferocious animals. And still in the world, fire isn't used for this purpose. If you go Indios, various African tribes, they still use it. There's no European bureaucrat which breaks their bollocks and say, no, you can't use that, it pollutes. It's most likely that probably bureaucratic official will get an arrow in its head. And if they do that, they've done a good job for this case. It's the insanity of the European Union. Non-elected officials, bureaucrats, has raised their wages just like that. And the European taxpayers continue to pay to keep its corrupt institution of Brussels. The European Union has no sense to exist. What does it represent? It represents the interests of globalists, mass immigration out of control and stuff like that, waging war with Russia, and the list is long. And the thing is, Europe will become a surveillance state with all these innovations or technology, artificial intelligence. It's not for our safety. It's to spy on us, what we do, what we say, where we go, and how much energy we can use. It's more dystopian than the World War 1984. You have no privacy, and they talk a lot about democracy. What democracy is this? One narrative, and the rest is all right-wing propaganda. You know, there is a saying, people won't realise until the last moment what damage they're doing to us and Europe itself. It's been like when Hitler was voted into power, say like democratically, and they turned around and said, you gave us a vote, we done this. And the population carried on until they didn't start forcing in certain laws. It's the same thing. Because even Douglas Kelly, the famous psychiatrist which done a psychiatric profile on all those Nazi criminals for the Nuremberg trial. And he's written a book about what, if it hasn't been a success, but it's been warning American society what has happened in Germany during the 1930s, 40s, whatever it is. It could happen in America. And you don't think it's possible a tyrant gains power? They have all the means at disposal to do so. Technology. It's George Orwell's wet dream, it is, coming true. And slowly, through these executive directives, which has no legal, you should say, legal binding, because the European Union is an institute, public institute, or it's just a corrupt institute, which is not sanctioned by any due legal process, internationally speaking. These so-called advisors who are in the European Union, Brussels, they're not elected by the people. They're auto-elected, or elected by those, the lobbies of the corporations, basically the globalists. This is what the EC is all about. And there are a few leaders in Europe are standing up against this tyranny which is dawning over Europe. And they try to sanction them. If you don't shut up, you don't go get any more money. The PNR, when each government does the finance law for how much the government has to spend on certain things, it's no more those parliaments which decide. It's Brussels. Brussels dictates to all the capitals of Europe. You have to do this, like this, and like this. That's not democracy. You lost your sovereignty. Being a part of this dystopian Marxist socialist nightmare.